In this video, I will be creating a user-requested Windows setup automation package. I'm starting this video from my GitHub page, and that's because there are a few bits of information here that I will be using for this video, and I will leave the URL in the description down below. And here you can see the request, and this request is for Windows 11 KIOSK configuration, and it has two parts, the KIOSK configuration itself, and then we have a little extra in here. And the KIOSK configuration itself is very simple. We need a user with a name KIOSK. Then the KIOSK user also needs to be without a password. The KIOSK configuration needs to open Microsoft Edge, and Microsoft Edge needs to open a web page that is located on the computer's hard drive in CKIOSK folder. So we will need to deploy the web page itself with this package. Also, Microsoft Edge needs the restart session button, and the browser should never restart automatically. Then to exit the KIOSK mode, we need to press Ctrl-Alt-Delete. This is the default behavior, so we don't need to do any extra in here. And the last request is that logging into the KIOSK user again does not require you to enter a password. So basically it's the same as the second action in here. If we have a KIOSK user without a password, it will behave like this. So like I said before, this is a very simple configuration. And if you care only about this part right here, I already made a video about that on my channel. You can check out that video, because this video will be more complicated, because we also need to include this action right here, and the KIOSK configuration because of that will be a bit different and a bit more complicated. And for this action, we need to automatically wake up the computer from standby at 3 AM every night to check for updates, install them if necessary, and after potentially multiple required reboots, delete and reconfigure the KIOSK mode and the corresponding user. And this action makes the provisioning package a lot more complicated. And to be honest, the provisioning package that I will be creating will not behave 100% as requested in here, because I try to simplify this process as much as possible. And the configuration that I will be creating will focus only on a single reboot after updating, because I think that multiple reboots are not necessary. Because multiple reboots mainly happen after the initial Windows setup, when you use a very old Windows image to install Windows on the computer. And then you have a long list of updates that you need to install, and you cannot install them all at once. So the computer gets the first set of updates, installs them, restarts. After that it gets the second set, installs them and restarts, and so on and so on. But I don't see this happening after the initial setup if the computer is updated regularly. And I don't see this being a problem in this configuration, because we will be checking for updates and installing them every day. And the second thing that will be not as requested is that deleting and reconfiguring the KIOSK mode will not happen after the reboot. Instead, it will happen after installing the updates and before rebooting the computer. But even though the configuration will be applied before the reboot, the KIOSK user's user profile will be created after the reboot on the user sign-in. And that should make the end result very similar, but I'm not sure if that will satisfy the person that made this request. And now I will go back to my GitHub page and talk about the provisioning package that I will be creating. Here you can see all the configurations that will be applied by the provisioning package. So first it will disable the out-of-the-box experience, then it will create an admin account, then it will launch a PowerShell script called ubisetup-ps1. And the script will set the admin password to never expires. Then it will create a provisioning folder on the computer. After that, it will move files from the provisioning package to the provisioning folder that we created in the step before. Then it will deploy the static web page to the CKIOSK folder on the computer. And then we have the KIOSK configuration itself, and this includes launching Microsoft Edge on startup. And Microsoft Edge needs to open the static web page that we will be deploying with our package. And then the provisioning package will pause Windows updates for 30 days. And the reason for that is that we want to install Windows updates daily at 3 AM. We don't want Windows updates to be running randomly. And for that I will be using Windows Task Scheduler. This will be the main mechanism for applying Windows updates and also removing and reapplying KIOSK configuration. The package will set the task to run daily at 3 AM. It will run under the system user, and this is a very important detail, because for managing KIOSK configurations we must use system user. It will not work with any other user on the computer. Anyways, this task will execute a PowerShell script called desktop updates ps1. This script will wait for network connection. It will resume Windows updates that we paused with our provisioning package in here. Then it will install PowerShell module called PS Windows Updates. And then the script using this module will check for updates and install them if available. And after that, once again, the script will pause Windows updates for 30 days. And then we have few conditional actions in here. And by conditional, I mean that they will be executed if after installing Windows updates, the computer requires a restart. And that includes signing out the KIOSK user, removing the KIOSK configuration, and then reapplying the KIOSK configuration. And one thing to know in here is that removing the KIOSK configuration not only removes the KIOSK configuration, but it also removes the KIOSK user and his profile. And even though we are reapplying the KIOSK configuration in here, and that will create the KIOSK user, but the KIOSK user profile will not be created until the computer installs the updates after the restart. And then it seems that I made a mistake in my description, because here I have pause Windows updates for 30 days, and this does not exist in here because we're pausing in here, and this is not conditional, it happens all the time. So let me quickly fix this. And now I'm back and I fixed my mistake. So the last conditional action that will happen only if the updates that we installed require a restart is restarting the computer. And then we have the last configuration that will be applied by the ubisetup ps1 script, and that's few power settings. The first one is to disable hibernate. And the reason for this action is that we need our task scheduler to be able to wake up the computer from sleep when running the PowerShell script. And I will not be able to show you the wake from sleep function in this video because I will be using a virtual machine for my demonstration. But I tested it on a hardware computer, and the computer where I was testing was unable to wake up from sleep if the hibernation was on. And even with this configuration where we have hibernation disabled, I'm not 100% sure that it will work for all the computers, because I don't use this function myself and I don't have experience with it. So it's possible that this configuration will not work for you and you will have to play around with it. Anyways, after that the configuration will set sleep after 45 minutes, and same goes for the turn off monitor function. And the reason for that is that we don't want the computer to go to sleep while the desktop update script is running. And now I will be downloading the files that I need for the provisioning package, and I have all of them here in my GitHub page. So the first file that I will be downloading is the static web page, and it's called index.html. I will open it. As you can see, this is a very simple HTML file, but it will work just fine for this package as an example. To download it, I will click on the button right here and then go to my downloads folder. I will be using 7-zip to deploy this file, so I will right click on it, go to 7-zip and click on add to archive. Here we need to click on create SFX archive. This will create a self-extracting archive, and self-extracting archives makes file deployment very easy when using with the provisioning packages. So let's click OK. And now we have this executable. I no longer need the HTML file, so I will remove it from my downloads folder. Then I will go back to my GitHub page, and the second file that I will be downloading is the ubisetup ps1. So I will open this one. And this is the main script that will be executed in the provisioning package. And the script first will set password never expires for the admin user. After that, it will create a provisioning folder in C program data directory on the computer. Then it will move files from the provisioning package to the provisioning folder that we created here. Then we have the static web page deployment. Basically, we're executing the index.exe executable that I currently have in my downloads folder, and we're providing the location where we want to extract the files. And then we have the KIOSK configuration. Here we're configuring Microsoft Edge as our KIOSK application, and then providing few parameters. The main parameter is this one, and here we're setting the web page that we want to launch on startup, and it's the web page that we deployed in here. And then we have few more parameters. First, we're setting KIOSK type to public browsing. This will enable the restart session button. Then we're setting idle timeout minutes to 0. This will disable the timeout, and also a parameter no first run. And here we're creating the KIOSK user itself. And then this snippet right here is for applying the KIOSK configuration. And after the KIOSK configuration, we have the configuration for Windows Task Scheduler. And here first I'm providing the information on what I want to launch with Task Scheduler. So I will be launching PowerShell, and PowerShell will be executing a PowerShell script called Desktop Updates PS1. And I will be talking about this script later in this video. After that, we're setting when we want to launch it, so it's set to daily at 3 AM. as requested. And then I'm setting wake to run value to true because we need this task to have ability to wake up the computer from sleep. And then we're providing the information under what user the task will be running. And as you can see, this task will be running under the system user. And this is very important because system user is the only user that we can use for applying the kiosk configuration and also removing it. And then after providing all the information, we are creating the task itself. And then we have a snippet that is responsible for pausing Windows updates. Because we don't want to run Windows updates whenever it wants, we want to run it at a specific time, like provided in here, daily at 3 a.m. And I will be pausing Windows updates for 30 days. And here we have a snippet that will generate all the necessary registry entries to achieve this. And here I was trying to be clever and simplify this process, but I think that I made it a bit more complicated. But anyways, it still works. Here we are applying the registry entries that are generated in here to pause the Windows updates, and then we have power settings. So it will set monitor timeout to 45 minutes, and same goes for standby, and also we are turning off hibernation. And that's it for this script. To download it, I will click on the button right here. And once again, go back to my GitHub page, and the last file that I will be downloading is another PowerShell script called desktop updates ps1. And the script will be executed by the task scheduler, and it will be responsible for applying Windows updates and also reconfiguring the kiosk configuration. And the script first will wait for the internet connection because we need internet connection for checking and installing Windows updates. Then we have once again the kiosk configuration that we had in the script before. And then here we are removing few registry entries from Windows registry to unpause Windows updates. And later in the script, we will be recreating all the registry entries that we removed in here. Because the idea is that first we remove the registry entries that are responsible for pausing Windows updates. Then we use the script to install Windows updates. And after installing the updates, we are pausing Windows updates again because we don't want the computer to run Windows updates whenever it wants. We want to execute Windows updates only when the script is executed. And after this, we have a snippet that is for installing PS Windows Updates module that we'll be using to check and install Windows updates. Here we're checking for updates, and if the script will find updates, it will install them and also create a CSV file in the cprogram data provisioning directory that will show us what updates the script found and installed. And after updating the computer, once again we have a snippet that is responsible for pausing Windows updates for 30 days. So like I said before, we're unpausing Windows updates, installing Windows updates, and then pausing them once again. And after pausing Windows updates, we're checking if the computer needs a restart. And if the computer needs a restart, we're logging off the kiosk user. This is a simple snippet to achieve that, because we know that the kiosk user will always run Microsoft Edge. After signing out the kiosk user, we are removing the kiosk configuration and then reapplying the kiosk configuration. And this will remove the user and also recreate the user, but it will not create the user profile. The user profile will be created after the computer restart when the kiosk user signs in for the first time again. And after that, we are restarting the computer. So this process in the script will happen daily over and over again. Anyways, now to download this script, let's click on the button right here. Let's close this window. And now we can start creating the provisioning package. So for that, I will go to Windows Configuration Designer, go to File, New Project. I will name the project package. Then I will click Next. Next, here I will select all Windows Desktop Editions, click Next, and then Finish. So first I will be disabling the out-of-the-box experience. I will go to Runtime Settings, then to UBI, and here for hide UBI, I will select value true. And now I will create a local administrator's account, and for that I will go to Accounts, then Users. Here we need to enter the username. I will enter admin, then I will click Add, go here on the red text, and here for the password we need to set a super secure password, so I will enter password 55. And then for the user group, I will select administrators. And that's it for the basic configuration. Now we need to package our scripts inside of this package. And for that, I will go to provisioning commands. I will go to device context, and then I will click on command files. So to package the files, I will click on browse, go to my downloads folder. I will select all the files that I have in here. So the two PowerShell scripts and also the index.exe executable. I will click open and then on this add button. And as you can see, all the files appeared in here. Then I will click on command line and then I will go to my GitHub page because here I have the command line that I will be using. So I will click on this button right here to copy it, go back to the configuration designer and insert the line in here. And that's it. Now we can generate the provisioning package, and for that I will go to export provisioning package. Here I will click next, next, and then next and build. Then I will click on the output location somewhere in here. And the only file that we care about in here is the package.ppkg. I will right click on it, select copy, go to my USB drive and insert the provisioning package in here. And now to show you how this provisioning package works, I will go to my VMware workstation where I have this Windows 11 virtual machine that is in the out-of-the-box experience. And the only thing that I need to do to apply the provisioning package is to plug the USB drive to this virtual machine. And to do that, I will go to VM, removable devices, I will select the USB drive that I want to connect, and I will click on connect. And the provisioning process should start automatically and prepare the computer for us. So now we need to wait a bit. And as you can see, the provisioning process executed successfully. We are in the KIOSK user. Microsoft Edge launched the web page that we deployed locally on the computer's hard drive. And that's basically it. We have the end session button that seems to work. So the KIOSK configuration applied successfully. Now to check everything else, I need to switch to the admin user. So I will click on Ctrl-Alt-Delete and then click on sign out. Then I will sign into my admin user. And now that I'm in my admin user, I can show you a few other things. So let's go to the settings application and Windows updates. So you can see that Windows updates are paused for 30 days. So pausing them works successfully. Next, let's open File Explorer. Go to this PC, local C drive, users, and then here we can see the KIOSK users profile. I will add creation date so we can see when this profile was created. I will also make a screenshot of the date because we will check if the user will be recreated after the schedule task is executed. So let's open it, and here we can see the date in here. Okay, so that's it for this. If I go to the C drive and the KIOSK, here we can see the local web page. And the last thing that we need to check is the task scheduler. So I will search for it and then I will run it as administrator. Let's make the screen bigger and go here. And here we have our Windows updates task. If I open it, here we can see that it will run under the system user with highest privileges. For the triggers, we have that it will run daily at 3 a.m. And for the actions, we can see that it will execute PowerShell, and PowerShell will execute the desktop updates PowerShell script. So to demonstrate how this task works, I will change the trigger to execute after 5 minutes. So I need to set it at 9. And then let's set it at 18 minutes. That should be enough. So now I will click OK, OK, and now the trigger is updated. So I will go back to the KIOSK user and wait for this task to be executed. And now I will wait here for the task to be executed. It will find updates and install them. And then I will show you the end result, what happened after the task execution. I'm back after the updates. I did see that the computer updated and also created a new user profile for the kiosk user. But we can double check, and for that I will go to my admin user. So once again I will press on Ctrl Alt Delete, go to the admin user, enter the admin password. And now once again let's go to the settings application. Here once again we can see that Windows Update is paused for 30 days. Now let's go to the File Explorer and let's go to C, Program Data, and here is our provisioning folder, and in here we have this CSV file, and if I open it with Notepad, here we can see what updates were found, downloaded, and installed. So everything seems to be working fine with Windows updates. Now if I go to this PC local C drive, users, here we can see creation date for this profile, and if I compare it to the old one, you can see that the time is different. So this is the new profile for the kiosk user. And this means that the provisioning package and also the script responsible for updating and reconfiguring the kiosk user works just fine. And that's basically it for this video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and see you in the next one.